Books are great. I am a book lover. I'm crazy about books, but they are not the only way to get some great reading and discover new authors. Um, Literary magazines or lit mags are also another great way to find new writers, to discover new genres, just to sort of see what's out there. So I am going to tell you about a few of my favorite literary magazines. This is by no means an exhaustive list of even the stuff I like, which means it's by no means an exhaustive list of what is out there, but just a few things I would like to share. Let's start with A Public Space. They are based out of, I think, it's Massachusetts? Gosh, I don't actually know that bit. But yeah, they are really great, really interesting. I think they put out some really just dynamic work. Their mission literally is, let me read this, to seek out overlooked and unclassifiable work and to publish writing from beyond established confines. And they do that. In the most recent issue, they had this really cool oral history called The Chimney Girl. Yes, by Peter Trachtenberg. And it's literally a story, a true story about a girl that fell through her apartment building's chimney, like from multiple stories, and survived. And the writer Peter Trachtenberg, reaches out to this family that happened to, and it's told in a really creative way. So even like their creative nonfiction stuff is just super interesting and dynamic, and like what they say is it defies genre, which I think is really cool. I love that they not a lot of literary magazines would think to include something like that, that they're going to stick to short stories, essays, poems. So whenever literary magazines like to do something out of the box, I'm always going to be down. And I've discovered other great writers that I like. Go Tata Go Go Ta Town Moang. I am butchering her name, but she's a really great writer that did a book of short stories a couple years ago that I really loved. And she has a short story, Bodies, in a previous issue of A Public Space. And that was how I discovered her as a writer. And so it's just a really great magazine if you are looking for something new. Then, so Yale Review, very prestigious, very like rock solid, obviously out of Yale, which a lot of literary magazines do come from educational institutions. Some are sort of standalone. A Public Space, I believe, is standalone. It's not tied to like a university, but Yale is tied to Yale. And they put out really great stuff. It's definitely more on like, bigger names. In the past few issues, they've had pieces by Sheila Heti, Melissa Febos, and Hilton Als. So it's maybe not the best place to get your big break as a writer, but you're gonna find some good stuff in here. And yeah, a piece I loved, I don't know if it's in one of the ones I have on me, but it was by Merritt Tierce, and it's a short story called Winners. It was published in the past like couple of years, and it's a really great short story talking about reproductive care and motherhood and politics, but also you know, the folly of youth. So that's a great piece that I really liked from the Yale Review recently. I have been reading Oxford American for like 20 years. I've only been a subscriber for I think like the past like 2 or 3 years though. And it's great. And it's literally a magazine of the South. So it's not purely a literary magazine. They do have like journalism features, and different articles, in there, but they are really great at, their art is incredible. Visual art, photography, just really like stunning work in and about the South. They also include like comics, really like artfully done stuff. So in general, if you are interested in art, photography, but also fiction, poetry, essays, Oxford American has some really great stuff, and it's got a great mix of, you know, more famous names as well as newcomers. So that's a great way to discover new writers. They're masters in creative nonfiction. In a recent issue from last year, they had this wonderful essay by the writer Jessica Lynn about Debbie Allen as a director, specifically focusing on the movie Polly, which I loved from my childhood. And it's sort of like niche content like that that is really like so impactful, being, you know, a woman in the South. So Electric Literature is it's an entirely like digital magazine, online, and it's really fun. I think they just really got their finger on the pulse of literature right now. They highlight a lot of, you know, short stories. They have a section called Recommended Reading where their editor sort of gives you an introduction to a short story. I discovered the writer Lee Newman and also Meg Pillow, through these pieces. They also do a lot of personal essays, and they're really great about nurturing writers. I should know, I have had an essay published on Electric Lit, about, you know, Black girls in horror movies. I really loved writing that piece, and it was a really great experience, working with them to get it on the site. They're also like doing listicles in a really great way. They have what they call their reading list, and they get like super niche, and they get a writer that's sort of usually like promoting their own book that's related to this topic. I think, you know, it'll be something like super specific, like queer dark academia. And I find so many great recommendations through those lists. I could, just look at what they already have up, or I can go search, for whatever, you know, topic I'm thinking of, or sometimes I'll search for a book I've recently loved and see if it shows up on any of the list, and then find other books that way. So it's a great site if you are a reader, especially if you're reading literary fiction, but I think they cover basically all genres. And yeah, it's a really like fun site. So this is not, a lit mag per se. It is basically an anthology of the best of lit mags, and that is the Pushcart Prize, which comes out every year. I think it's been coming out since like the 70s, and it's a really thick book, of the best of small presses or literary magazines. And it is truly the way to find the best of the best. And it covers, you know, poetry, short stories, essays, creative nonfiction, and there's some truly remarkable work. I think the 2024 issue, which I read, starts off with this story, Ambivalence by Victoria Lanceletta, and it just like hits you from the first sentence. And I am now, you know, in love with her work. and like that was published in the Idaho Review. And so it also tells you where these stories are published. So not only are you getting to discover new writers, you're able to discover new literary magazines, which I think is really cool if you want to support, you know, these things. So then I don't have it on me, but then I ended up getting a subscription to the Idaho Review because I was like, oh, like you guys are putting out good stuff. Also Skinfolk by Elaine, I think it's Say Chow, who wrote Disorientation. Really cool short story about Asian American children of immigrants and their sort of obsession with Black American culture. Just absolutely brilliant. And then what I love about something like this is that there's something that I probably wouldn't naturally be drawn to. But there's a story by Joseph Sigurdson called Wishbone. It's an essay about his time living out in Alaska and a stray dog that he adopts. And it was really beautiful and not necessarily something I would immediately think I would like, but I really loved it. And so, yeah, they're great for discovering stuff you might not expect. So those are a few of my favorite literary magazines. And that's literally just a few that I read regularly. Like I said, this is not an exhaustive list. Let me know if you want more. There's all sorts of like, you know, niche ones. There's like Taco Bell Quarterly. There's even higher end ones like the Paris Review. So Lit Mags cover just a really wide range of stuff. So this is just a few that I like and come back to time and time again. And if you are into them, I encourage you to subscribe and pay for what you're reading. That is so important for developing new writers and keeping the literary community going, for sustaining literature. And also, you know, subscribe to me. So thank you.